reaching you live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. This is Sports Tonight. Good to have you join us. I'm Austin Okonakpan on the show tonight. FIFA inspection team in Nigeria, they continued the look at facilities. Nigeria is bidding to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Today, the team, they were in Asaba. From Asaba, they went to Uyo, concluding that inspection. So they will go back now and look at their findings and see if Nigeria truly have the capacity to host a world event. That will be our major discussion on the show tonight as we take a look at infrastructure development in Nigeria. Whether we like it or not, this FIFA visit has reminded us that there is still a lot of work to be done in terms of developing infrastructure in Nigeria. We're counting down to the 2019 African Games. Nigeria's volleyball team, they already know their opponents. I'll tell you on the show tonight. We'll also talk about the Nigeria Women's Premier League matches went down today, but in Lagos we couldn't see action. Issues again in women's football. Referees weren't on ground. The visiting team couldn't make it down to Lagos. It's a professional league. We'll see what the analysts in the house have to say as regards that one. The Confederation of African Football, it was on this show last week that Onyiwuchi Nwachukwu and Joseph Mukuzi said, so we needed to wait for CAS to tell us what to do. And Confederation of African Football, they were trying to joke with us. They said they will set up a body, see what they can do, judiciary, speaking all sorts of grammar. Today they came out with a release to say Esperance of Tunisia are the confirmed champions of the CAF Champions League. Talk about wasting of time right there with African football. We'll talk about that one also on the show tonight. And of course, whatever you want to talk about, it's the silly season. Players are moving from one club to another. Alex Iwobi popped up in the news today. Everton, they want the Arsenal man, but Arsenal, no. Leave our boy alone. Leave our boy. What do you think? What's your take so far with this transfer window? We've not really heard much about Nigerian players. Yeah, Victor Osimhen went to Lille. What's your take so far? Just talk about that one by the side, because I know a lot of you guys are also monitoring the silly season. Maintenance of sporting facilities in Nigeria will also get our attention. We will not stop because we don't need to wait for FIFA to come to our country, or because we want to put together a world event that we will start trying to get everything properly done. No, and it was on this show last night that the permanent secretary in the Ministry for Youth and Sports Development, Olushade Adeshola, told us that, look, we are ready, that Nigeria is ready for the 2019 African Games, that athletes' welfare is top-notch. And so those athletes are saying, where is the top-notch welfare that the PEMSEC was talking about? But hey, let's see what the Nigerian spirits can do. That's what we always say when we're going for a big competition, that it is the Niger spirit that we go out there to perform wonders. That's about the outlook of the show tonight. We'll play some volleyball. We'll play table tennis. Yes, the 6th edition of the Nigeria Open served off in Lagos today. That competition getting loads of accolades. The International Table Tennis Federation, they said, look, this Nigeria Open has become a model for the development of table tennis worldwide. Wow, why? Who did it? The fans, spectators, they are always packed full at the Molade Okoya Thomas Hall, at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. You need to go there and see the love that they have for table tennis. So ITTF said, no. Nigeria has done so well for the development of this sport, and so we need to commend them. We'll take a look at the 6th edition of the Nigeria Open. Hopefully Aaron Okwodri and other Nigerian players are still mad and not happy that Egypt came here to dominate. They said the Pharaohs, they came to take over our land to win at the African Cup. So let's see if they will reclaim their glory. By the way, Aaron Okwodri is the defending champion. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Welcome on board. This is the Fun Factory. Come, let us play for the love of the game. So much is going down. Do you want to be part of the show? Yes, you can talk to us on Twitter, Channels_sports. Facebook channels like Sports, you can send us an email, sportstonight@channelstv.com. I want you to set the agenda on the show tonight. I'm asking you a simple question via our social media platforms. And Nigeria is bidding to host the FIFA Women's Under-20 World Cup. And the question is, does the country have the facilities? It's a world event. I don't care if it's the Women's Under-20 World Cup. It's a world event. Does the country have the quality to host such an event? Be part of the program. Twitter, Channels_sports. Facebook channels, iFin Sports. All our top stories can be viewed on our website. It's channelstv.com and on YouTube /channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com. Download the Channels TV app for your iPad, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, your iOS, and your Windows phone. So much is happening. I invite you to be part of the Fun Factory. You will love it. You're about to have the best 50 minutes of your time watching television. So come, let's do this together. The guys are back at the Wednesday team. I love this team so much. Joseph Mukuzi makes a return. Joseph, good to have you on the show.
Yeah, Austin, a pleasure. So many happenings in Nigerian football, Under 20 World Cup, and we have so many domestic issues as well that we haven't resolved, and we feel that hosting the World Cup will help us. What's a way to solve our personal problem? I really don't know. It might be good, but how expedient is it? To what extent is it going to help to grow domestic football? We'll get to see as time goes on.
Oh yeah, Uche is also here. I'm just looking at Nigerian football like a father will look at a child. Don't draw parables. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
My pleasure, Austin. Well, I mean, the major issue is the Under 20 World Cup bid.
Yeah.
It has elicited a lot of reactions, mixed reaction if you ask me. Some people are saying why not, and some people are saying it shouldn't be our priority at the moment. But I think as time goes on the program, we'll be able to put it in the right perspective. But I have my opinion, and I think I will make my opinion known. Yeah.
And you should also tell us your opinion, questions, comments, suggestions, whatever. I've tagged it infrastructure development, so feel free to use that hashtag or use the hashtag Nigeria's bid. We just want to understand. Yes, we have a lot of stadiums in this country, so much. But in what state are they? I went to the National Stadium the other day, and it was a reminder that what's going on. That beautiful edifice, that big boy of Nigerian football history has been abandoned to rot since 2002. Let's not even talk about the Abuja National Stadium. So when we get into that discussion, I want you to be part of it because it will be robust. Let's get into the show now. We're getting ready for the 2019 African Games. It will take place in Rabat, Morocco, when the 16th of August, Rabat will come alive, the best of African sports. Nigeria, the men and the women's team, they now know their opponents for the volleyball events. Nigeria, they've been drawn in Pool A for the upcoming African Games that will take place, I told you, in Rabat, Morocco. The drawing of lots was done in Morocco in the presence of representatives from the Confederation of African Volleyball. Nigeria will face the host, Morocco, Mauritius, and Botswana in Pool A. That's for the men. Nigeria will face Morocco. Morocco, not African countries. Mauritius and Botswana. Algeria will go against Egypt, Cape Verde, and Cameroon in Pool B of the men's category. For the women, Morocco will battle it out in Pool A with Botswana, Mauritius, and Nigeria. Why are they following us? The same Pool A and the same African, not African. Pool B includes Kenya, Cameroon, Senegal, and Algeria. That's for the women's category. Joseph, look, it's volleyball. Yeah. And when the new board came, led by engineer Nimrod, it said, look, we just want people to also get talking about volleyball. And it was on this show we said that volleyball has got some good exposure in this country. People play it for leisure. People talk about it. So this is an opportunity for us to actually score the progress of the sport when we go to the African Games.
Absolutely. And they've been able to have a few meets, and which is very good for the sports in Nigeria. I'm just looking at the draw. Interesting times. We are going to be up against Morocco, the host. It won't be easy, But the second group is even tougher when you have Algeria and Egypt. North Africans are usually very hot when it comes to volleyball. But I know they've had their work cut out. It's not going to be easy. It's the All African Games, and we expect them to perform well. But it's not going to be easy, Austin.
It won't be easy, but it will be good experience for not just the players, but also the coaches. The federation also have an opportunity to find ways to assess the team and improve.
Yeah, Austin, there's no easy way to victory. Yeah. When you qualify for the All African Games, you should expect that you are playing against the best on the continent. And immediately after the draw, that should begin to tell all the teams that you now need focus. If you were playing before, if you are taking it for granted, now you have known your opponents. You can play friendly matches with countries that play the similar pattern to your opponent. So I think they should not have any problem in Rabat. But the players should be motivated. Like you just mentioned here that the permanent secretary was here and said that the welfare has been taken care of. we want to believe him.
They're also doing well in camp.
Yeah.
They also want to believe him, but because we don't want to hear stories later. Remember what happened at the last African Games? We have attended international tournaments in coats of many colors. Our contingent appearing during the opening ceremony, looking tattered and disjointed with different uniforms. These are not good signs for the national team, for a contingent that is representing Nigeria. We want our athletes to be in high spirits. We want them to be well prepared. And the coaches too are very, very key because the man who is teaching athletes should also be well prepared.
That's right.
We should be abreast of
current
trends in the sports. But we want to wish them well too.
But Austin, going forward, I really don't think this. By now, we ought to have done all these things. This is not the time to motivate the coaches. You ought to have done all these things long ago. Preparation shouldn't start now. It ought to have started over a year ago. So really, if they are going to the tournament and they are motivating, they are looking at the coaching, they are looking at this right now, Austin, it's just to show that by the time we get to the competition itself, we will not achieve much. This is something that ought to have been done a year before this time. So if they are doing it right now, I don't expect much. Yeah,
but and we are always swimming against the tide.
Yeah.
The North Africans that he mentioned, in that region, the football clubs have all these other sports.
Yes.
They have
Embedded.
sports clubs. Those sports clubs, you have football teams, you have volleyball, you have handball. So they are well funded.
Easy.
Yeah, they have standing teams.
Structures, yeah.
And because they have such structures in their country, it also helps in discovering talents. You have a structure, you have teams that the talents that have been discovered in the country will easily fit into. We don't have those structures. I feel so sad for these players. They train sometimes, but the tournaments are not there. The federations also sometimes they try their best, but the funding is poor. So we really need to put on our thinking caps and do something differently.
See why Oyinwuchi and Joseph, this is why I don't like
we've always had a way out.
10 minutes into the show, they are making me sad.
We've always had a way out of it, school sports. But somehow we've managed to kill it. And the experience of this world, they have a sporting club, but we had school sports. So what happened to that culture? I remember when I was in school, we had volleyball teams, even high school, we had volleyball teams. So what happened to that culture? We just killed it. And
football. And that was why we asked the PEMSEC last night that they say we have the Ministry of Youth and Football, not sport. And it says no. But then, in totality, what the guys and the students are trying to say is funding, investment. We need to invest into these other sports because we have the talent, we have the people. So we need to invest. That's what they are doing in North Africa. That's what they're doing in Europe. That's what they're doing in countries where sports is working. Everything must become. Should I remind you again? It is what you sow, you reap.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So we just got into the show. I know Uchi and Joseph, let you remind me that I cannot be happy tonight. I want to smile. I want to talk about table tennis and its development in Nigeria. The 6th edition of the Nigeria Open got underway today in Lagos. And what a beautiful, beautiful sight it was. And the ITTF, the international body, the vice president is in the country, is Dr. Alam Meshref. He says, look, Nigeria is a model for the development of table tennis. Isn't that beautiful? Because only in the last 5-6 years, table tennis in Nigeria has been on the rise. Yeah,
been absolutely consistent. And that's why we've been talking about harping on leadership, the structures. Eniton Oshodi was able to lay that foundation. And this present administration, they have followed suit. They have consolidated. I think this is a record 32 nations participating in this year's event. It shows that other countries are beginning to reckon with this tournament. And it has also given our players who probably did not have enough money to go outside. You are already in Nigeria, you can compete with the best. And I want to agree with what the president of ITTF have said. This is a model, and we can only get better with this tournament.
We can.
And I also want to believe that it will help us fix some of the facilities that we host this tournament in continuously.
I agree. And Joseph, it is also a good avenue to develop and nurture talent.
Absolutely.
We know of the Arno Quadris, the big boys, the Wolufunke or Shonaike, But we want to see the future. The likes of Esther, Tosin Oribamishe, and Amadi Ahmed that are coming out, Taiwo Mati. They will play at this competition. Even if they don't get to win, it's an opportunity for us to look at them and talk about them.
Absolutely. I was just looking at the Mustafa brothers earlier. I mean, fantastic game, you know, this afternoon. And when the younger one lost, 11 years old, Austin, it was extremely emotional. You know, when you see these young lads buy into the sports at a very young age, it tells you that there's a lot of future, you know, embedded. There's a lot in terms of future, in terms of the prospect of the table tennis in Nigeria. Yeah. And it is one, you know, sport that has continuously, you know, been on the rise, you know, for a very long time. Lagos State government have been greatly in support of the successive Lagos State government have been supporting, you know, table tennis and it has really gone a long way in improving the sport and growing it. And this fantastic opportunity for these young lads as well. You know, they don't have to travel out. It's here in Nigeria, it's here in Lagos. Opportunity for them to, you know, try their stuff with the best in the world, and it's a fantastic opportunity. And the talents that we get from this, you know, competition, we should try as much as possible to expose them as well. This Mustafa brother is 11 years old, doing so well. I think we should be thinking of, you know, taking them abroad to China, and so that they can play with the best at their own age, and they use their facilities to grow as well and excel.
That's what it is, exposure. You know, we brought you Khaled Elstad. He last night on this show is the president of the African Table Tennis Federation. He says that from the Hopes competition that was just concluded, Nigeria's Usman won for the men, and then an Egyptian won for the women. So it means in the world right now, Africa is doing so well in future table tennis. So we need to come back home and see ways that we can solidify infrastructure. We saw the indoor sporting facility for table tennis. That's where you saw the athletes preparing. Did you like what you were saying? It's not good. Basics. Table tennis there. Okay, let's say the board is expensive. How about making the arena look good? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Those little things, we must start doing them for sports in Nigeria to actually develop. Let's still stay with infrastructure development in Nigeria. FIFA has a team of about 5 persons in Nigeria. What are they doing here? They're inspecting facilities because Nigeria is bidding to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. They started yesterday from Lagos. From Lagos, they went to Benin to take a look at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. Right after they concluded in Benin, they went to Asaba today. And from Asaba, they went to Uyo. Those are the venues that have been shortlisted. Pictures from the visits in Asaba, Delta State, in Wachuku. We talked about this facility when it started. For instance, look at what we're already seeing. Yeah, so we have the facilities, but there's just something about fine-tuning, I don't know, cleaning up, finishing touches. There's just something about that in Uchi.
Well, Austin, we don't pay attention to details. Exactly. I think it's a big issue. Well, the FIFA officials by now should be used to some of these things in this country. I think some of them know this country very well. Yeah. The other time they said it was the 10th wonder or the 12th wonder of the world. Yeah. Well, we are able to turn around certain things in a record time and put the facilities in shape. But Austin, in your opening remark, you said we bidded. I'm not convinced that there was a bid, because in the previously, when there was an official bid, we had a committee. Yeah. It was a public issue. It was a national thing. For instance, when we were bidding to host the 2010 World Cup, that was zoned to the continent. In 2006, we were in Cairo. Malam Dala Dibako was a kind of spearheading the bid. He was in Cairo to get publicity, to publicize our bid. This bidding process, you know, when was it initiated? When is it shrouded in mystery? Those are the questions people are asking. All of a sudden, we are trusted. We just heard that FIFA officials are coming to inspect facilities. Okay. You know, when was this bid prepared? When was it submitted? These are the questions we want to hear.
These are the questions NFF officials will come to the show to answer. Let's go on this break. When we come back, more inspection from the FIFA team right here on the show. So don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. We're talking about this. Chinwachukwu is letting me understand that it cannot be a bid because, I mean, there was no proper documentation for us to call it a bid. But hey, the NFF says they're bidding for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. And that's what we're staying with. And another issue followers of this show are asking online is, if we say it's a bid, what countries are we going against? Because it looks like Nigeria is bailing out FIFA. So FIFA should come on now and say, okay, for accepting to host this FIFA Under-20 World Cup, this is what is in it for Nigeria?
Essentially, that's what it is. I mean, South Korea pulled out. They had no other option but Nigeria. And Nigeria just showed up. This is just a boardroom negotiation. The NFF and FIFA just said, can we just bail us out? They should just spell it out and let us know. This thing, the motive is suspicious. The priorities is what we should be doing now to improve our football. Those are the issues. So really, there's no bid. We know that there's no bid. You know, so really, they just picked a few states that they have functional relationship with already. Delta State already, they have functional relationship with them. They've been hosting the Super Eagles.
That's right.
Those states, they already have a plan to develop sports.
And
they have a sports festival coming up.
They hosted the Falconers for the qualifiers.
They hosted the Falconers, even the Super 4 they hosted as well. You know, Akwa Ibom is state that has always hosted the Super Eagles. Lagos has always been, you know, interested in sports development, and they have the sports-loving governor. So they have Oniko Stadium. The prototype is there already. If it is done, it will be a fantastic.
FIFA should be telling us, well done.
So all these things they should tell us, what do we stand to gain for hosting this tournament? Awesome. Let us know. I mean, because
this is the good part of this sort of development. We get to see us do work, but it's not just about the now. What
is the good part, Austin?
Because what has been ongoing?
What is the good part?
It has been ongoing.
This state is going to host the National Sports Festival. So this process has been ongoing. The Oniko Stadium, you know, in fact, it was supposed to have been commissioned before Ambode left. So it has nothing to do with hosting of the Under-20 World Cup. You know, Austin, let us sensitize our viewers. In 1999, we hosted the Under-20 World Cup for men, and the National Stadium, National Stadium in Lagos was used as the final venue. What is the state of that facility today?
A mess.
In 2009, the Under-17 World Cup final was hosted at the Abuja National Stadium. What is the state of so for those who are saying, yes, we have to host, that's the only time government will be forced to upgrade. Okay, you upgrade, what happens to the facilities? And is it not an aberration that we'll be waiting for FIFA before
we can upgrade or maintain existing facilities?
It's like a car that you have to push all the time. Is it not an aberration? So I think we have to get our priorities right. Like Joseph said, there was no bid. South Korea pulled out. India had got the nod to host the Under-17 Women's World Cup. South Korea pulled out. And it's like we are bailing out FIFA. So if we are bailing out, then the conditions must be spelled out clearly. What do we stand to gain? Because we are bailing, if you are bailing somebody out, you have to also gain something. What do we have to gain in this bailout arrangement?
Because as a country, we are going to spend money to put things in place.
Some of these states cannot. They say they cannot even pay 30,000 naira minimum wage,
and they want to expend a lot of money to host. I mean,
the issues.
There are major financial issues. All the states are
So the inspection team at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State, you see the NFF president, you see the chairman of the Delta State Sports Commission, and the team from FIFA.
Austin, we don't even have a sports minister, Austin.
It will come. It will come.
And in key into this?
Joseph, let's stay with it now. From Delta State, they went to Uyo in Akwa Ibom State to inspect facilities at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, and that's the governor of the state right there, Emmanuel Udom, says Akwa Ibom is ready to host the world, talking about the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. So I see laughs and cheers everywhere.
Austin, let me also chip in this. The FIFA, an NFF chieftain, in trying to defend why Abuja was not picked, said because Abuja had a capacity of 60,000. So what is the capacity of the Uyo Stadium that has been designated? Because he said women's football is not that popular, so it will be difficult to fill a stadium that has 60,000 capacity. So what is the capacity of this stadium?
Okay.
So it's a hurriedly assembled bid. Very wishy-washy, with loopholes.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be our priority at the moment.
It shouldn't be.
Of recent, the women held us to ransom in France.
Because we couldn't pay.
The Super Eagles did the same thing. The Flying Eagles, I'm sure they have not been paid their bonus.
And some of the home-based
from
players
the World Championship in Poland.
Some of the home-based players that were in that Super Falcons team, they are alleging that they are still being owed. But the NFF says this will have a ripple effect. It's going to develop women's football.
It has not. It has not. We have history is replete with incidents. It has not, and it won't.
Okay. Let's go and get some talking, but this looks good. Drone shots of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. But let's go to Delta State and get some reaction from the inspection that went down today. And when we're done with Delta State, we'll come back to Uyo to also hear the FIFA inspection team talk about what they saw on ground. It's Post Tonight on Channels Television.
I'm impressed about the number of facilities in this state. And also the activities as part of the legacy plan. Lots of facilities have been upgraded or will be upgraded in the next time. So this is obviously what we like in order to develop football everywhere around the world.
It's not a question of whether Delta State stands a chance. We are looking at the global picture of hosting a FIFA tournament, in which case, as a nation and as a federation, we should provide the requisite facilities and services that are befitting of that tournament. Good to explain that a World Cup is a World Cup, whether it is under 17 or it is women's or it is something, there is really little compromise. You have to, yes, in size and in scope and in size of stadia and services and TV audience and such other things, yes, the Women's World Cup is lower in demand than the Men's World Cup. But generally, all the standards and all the services and all the functions have to be up and working.
I just want on behalf of the government to reassure you of the infrastructure. You can see our maintenance culture. So many federal governments build stadia, they can't maintain them. But I think our stadium is one of the best maintained stadia in Africa today. And we are off season now. By the time we get into the football season, full, we just started the new season. I think you'll see a whole lot of this. And before this tournament comes in 2020, I can assure you we'll produce at least 2 more up-to-date international standard facilities and everything complete. Of one, at least a sports stadium, and the second one, a full-fledged sports center that will help in people training for this. I also want to let you know, Akwa Ibom should go without saying, as far as we consider Nigeria.
So the governors are talking. Yesterday we were listening to Babajide Sanwo-Olu saying the same thing. So it's, guys, just look at the good side. I love the balance you guys are bringing to the discussion, but this, in a way, will still showcase Nigeria to the world. It's a world event. And listening to Governor Emmanuel Udom speak, it's another avenue for Akwa Ibom to develop sporting infrastructure.
No, Austin, you don't need the governor to tell us that the stadium is well maintained. It's practical. You can see it. Yeah. I mean, he should be proud of that aspect. So we know that they have that culture over there to maintain the facility, and we want it to spread across the country, across the facilities spread around the country. You don't just spend money building gigantic facilities and allow them to rot. It's not good for the national image of this country. But when you look at the issues of hosting Austin, countries outside, countries world over have hosted and they have declared profit. They have declared profit. In retrospect, when we hosted the World Youth Championship, did we declare profit? The All African Games, did we declare profit? Go, the records are there, Austin. Go and check and prove me wrong. Did you declare? So why are we hosting? Are we organizing the jamboree? in this moment of our lives,
Maybe
that
this-
we are struggling economically.
Maybe this can correct it.
No,
Austin, this is a
the
flight,
signs are not
this is
there.
a flight of fancy. I mean, when you look at most of these states already have ready-made budgets. This is an extra budgetary provision. They have all manner of issues. How expedient is it at the moment? To what extent will it benefit Nigeria at the moment? We have so many issues, Austin.
Okay.
Austin,
Yes.
just today, the LMC, through its postman, debunked a story that went viral yesterday, that the league will start on
September.
So, as of now, our league doesn't have resumption date.
No sponsor?
Are these not issues? Are these not issues?
The NFF is working towards it. Now they just want to get this.
Why the
I
haste,
should
Austin?
I
Why
should
the
still
haste?
say bid. This bid out of the way.
There was no bid.
There's no bid, Austin.
There was no bid.
Guys, I'm changing my words there now.
There was no bid, Austin.
A major problem for infrastructure development in Nigeria is maintenance.
Yeah.
So because you can see those beautiful facilities, but we don't maintain. When the Abuja National Stadium was built, oh my God, it was a masterpiece. It was beautiful. But when you ask the question, what is it today?
grazing reserve also.
Egbe is a pitch construction specialist. He has constructed over 8 different pitches in Nigeria. He also identified maintenance as a major issue. Let's listen to Egbe on the show tonight.
Developing infrastructure is one thing. The maintenance is my major problem with Nigeria and Africa. It's not just a Nigerian problem. In Africa, we have serious maintenance issues. I mean, I have about 8 geotech pitches in Nigeria, and all the 8 we've had zero maintenance. I mean, Enyimba, almost 9-10 months now, zero maintenance. Kakanda Stadium, Katsina, 4 years, zero maintenance. Aparaku Stadium, Makodi, Fusion Pitch, almost 8 years now, zero maintenance. Sami Siasia Stadium, almost 9 months now, zero maintenance. We have to try and understand that you can't invest money on these infrastructures without maintaining them. Even we as human beings, we go for medical checkup. You can't buy a car and drive for 8 months without changing oil or checking the oil. It's the same principle. We have to try and see how we can embed this maintenance culture in us. If we can embed maintenance culture in us, honestly speaking, Austin, well, Nigeria is good to go. Maintenance is a major problem. We invest money on the right infrastructures, but we don't maintain them. Look at National Stadium, for example. There's nothing wrong with a National Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. The maintenance culture that we don't have is what is killing all our facilities in Nigeria. I'll plead with facility owners. In as much as you're spending millions of naira to construct these facilities, also understand it's important for you to maintain it. If you don't maintain it, it's going to be like a waste of money.
So I held the microphone to Egbe's mouth, and Onye Joseph, when he finished, I felt like crying.
Yeah, it is.
How can you spend billions? The Abuja National Stadium is estimated to be about 54 billion.
Yeah, Austin.
Onye, and maintenance wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. And these things are not rocket science.
Yeah.
We all watched the Nations Cup. Immediately after the game, you saw how the Egyptians took care of the pitches.
Terrible.
These things are not rocket science. If you claim you don't know, then you can borrow innovations, you can borrow from other people and get it right. In fact, when you go to smaller schools in this country, they have lush green pitches. Yeah. So, I mean, this thing is not something that is difficult. But the problem is that I think there is a deliberate attempt or process to ensure that these facilities rot away for reasons that we cannot explain here. But it's sad.
It's very, very sad analysis of who we are as a people. But if you cannot do this thing, if you cannot, we understand, if our civil servant is so terrible, our civil service is so terrible that you can't really get them to perform their jobs, why not outsource? I mean, maintenance should be part of the package of building it. It's not just enough to build such a massive edifice and at the end there is no, specialized plan on how to maintain it. Why not outsource? Why not outsource? Then pay money and let give it to private sector to manage. Since you can't get civil servants to do their job.
Let me tell you one secret from inside resources. The only stadium where the Super Eagles can feel very comfortable going into the convenience, to go and ease themselves, is the Uyo Stadium.
That's
Terrible. Oh my God.
Is the Uyo Stadium.
So I don't get it, because Egbe, He's an expert. He's the one that puts up most
he
of-
appears frustrated because his work is being
He's appealing.
he's been rubbish.
We saw the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenagoa. Beautiful. We talk about it. It's going 9 months now.
It boils down to because that stadium is under a ministry.
Look at it.
If they can't get the job done because they are inefficient, outsource it. That's the key.
Aparaku Stadium,
Outsource it.
remember, it couldn't pass CAF inspection to play a match there.
The
That they had to go to Enugu. So sad. So a rich man gets up and decides to buy the latest Range Rover and say, I'm going to drive it for 2 years straight. And lives it. It's going to break down. What's the problem? That's the issue. Maintenance. It should be part of the plan. Otherwise, infrastructure development will continue to be a problem. It will become a setback to the development of sports in this country. When you hear some arena, you say Old Trafford. The stadium alone motivates you. So you're going to the Santiago Bernabeu to play football.
Austin,
in fact, that is the
outsource.
It's the stadium that even invites some players, some top. Say you're going to the San Siro. What are we doing? Look. The Nigerian Football Federation, the Ministry for Youth and Sports, everyone involved with sports development in Nigeria. It's about time we need to sit down, get a framework. There should be a structure, there should be a policy plan in place to ensure that infrastructure development is given proper attention. Let's just take a look at the proposed venues. Just in case you missed it yesterday, let us show you again the proposed venue. Nigeria wants to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Lagos, the match venue is the Unicon Stadium. That's where the action will go down. The training site, Teslim Balogun Stadium, the Legacy Pitch. These guys talked about the Legacy Pitch. Only right after this, I'll show you the Legacy Pitch again that we took FIFA team to go and see. Still in that same state. You guys are advocating to, if it is just common painting of the wall, let it look good. The Eagle Club in Surulere, Campus Square Mini Stadium, and Unilag Sports Complex. That's the training sites for Lagos. In Benin, the match venue is the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. You saw it, it's looking good. We hope maintenance is part of the plan. And then the training site, the Western Boys College and University of Benin Sports Complex. Let's go to Asaba. The match venue is the Stephen Keshi Stadium. The training site is the Asaba Squash Courts and St. Patrick's College, while in Uyo is the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium. That's the match venue. And then the training sites will have Ikotek Benin Stadium and Gospel Akpabio Training Pitch. And tonight on this show, we brought you that exclusive. The governor says they can put 2 more facilities to actually strengthen Nigeria's bid. So it's good. It's good. My producer, I don't know if we've got some time. Let's go back to that visit in Lagos and see the Legacy Pitch, because that one, I was part of it. I saw that if it's just that Legacy Pitch, we should cancel it. Because we talked about it here. We showed it. FC Robo Queens, they played their match there. We talked about basics like painting the wall, making the stands look good, just so when persons come, they will understand. I didn't see any reason why we took FIFA officials to go and look at Legacy Pitch.
Maybe they don't have alternative. They had to go there. But Austin, we said it here last week that we need to pay attention to details. These are very, very. These are part of branding. Not too elaborate, but just package a product in a way that it will be appealing. I mean, this is on TV. This is on TV. The wall looks so dirty and unkept. And
we say sticks packed up in one corner and all of that. Don't talk about
it's because of the
convenience.
No, that's even terrible.
Don't go there. Let's leave it. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're trying to put perspectives, proper perspectives to this Nigeria's bid to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Let me go on this break. When we come back, what are you talking about? Do you believe the country has the capacity, to have the quality to host this world event? That will get our attention. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at what's going on in our world of sports, particularly that Nigeria's bids to host the 2020 FIFA Women's Under-20 World Cup. Loads of discussion that one has sparked in the studio and even on our social media platforms. But I'll come to it. Let's just give you some updates what went down today at the Nigerian Women's Premier League. Yes, we'll give attention to women's football now. Confluence Queens, match day 3. They defeated Abia Angels by 2-0. Invincible Angels defeated Ibom Angels by 2-1. Tomorrow, Rivers Angels will take on Oshun Babes, while Delta Queens will play FC Robo. That's for tomorrow. Let's continue with Match Day 3 results. By Elsa Queens 1, Sunshine Queens 0, Nasarawa Amazons. They showed quality. They are angry from their last defeat. That, come on, how can this happen to current ITO Cup champions? They disassembled Kaduna Queens by 5 goals to nothing. Dream Stars ladies, they're waiting for their first win of the season. They were fired up today, but their opponent, Heartland Queens, couldn't show up for the match.
And so the officials as well.
The officials, issues. That's what the guys in the studio they're trying to say. We cannot be bringing the ball and then. No, this is not so good for our football because it's a professional match. It is already in the calendar. PSCs know that they have to make this match happen. It didn't go down today. So they said it will be played tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. We'll see how that one we go. Adamawa Queens 1, Edo Queens 0. So that's it. Results from Match Day 3 of the Nigerian Women's Premier League. I know if I let these guys talk about it now, they will not stop. So let's just get on with the show. I'll let you know that Coach Christopher Danjuma is the head coach of the Nigeria's under-20 women's team. It's the Four Cornets. He has invited 18 players that will represent Nigeria at the Women's Football Tournament of the 12th edition of the All Africa Games, scheduled for Rabat, Morocco, from August the 17th till the 29th, with Super Falcons #1 choice goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie as top on the list. So 18 players, they are ready, they've been called up, and we're waiting to see what they can do at that championship in Rabat, Morocco. And of course, Coach Thomas Danabi, he has also invited 30 Super Falcons players for the Tokyo 2020 qualifying round match against Algeria. That's how far we can go on the show tonight. This discussion, we will continue tomorrow. We'll not stop until FIFA team leaves the country. Thank you so much, Joseph.
It's a pleasure, Austin,
for your time.
Thanks for having me.
It was beautiful. We will continue this discussion. You can also do the same on Twitter, channels_sports, Facebook, channels IFN Sports. That's the show. For the team, the ever reliable sports team, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.